us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Happy to join.
Now, this matter of cybersecurity levy has been generating reactions from a lot of Nigerians who do not understand why we are demanding this levy at this time. Perhaps you might want to help us better understand the decision of government taking this step and perhaps what benefits or what it means for Nigerians.
Thank you very much. I had the opportunity to look into the circular that the CBN did pass around to the financial institutions. And of course, I wasn't even much aware about the levy before now, to be honest with you, because number one, it isn't my space except for the policy implication of it. So I wasn't familiar with what was happening in that space before now until this circular then came out. Also, I wasn't aware when that law was enacted. It may have been, the normal way, the normal legislative process, procedures that we go through. We say that we are having public hearing, but it isn't really a public hearing. It's a private hearing, really. So, and then again, it goes to show the level of policy sensitization that we have in the country. If we are going to implement policy aggressively in this manner, we should, sensitize people when those policies are being, put together, so that people are aware upfront before we begin the implementation. But then, having seen the circular of the CBN trying to enforce the implementation of that levy, the first thing that came to me, jumped at me, is the fact that it isn't the right time, actually. Many individuals, households, and businesses, are still finding the headroom with which to stay afloat, given the impact of the subsidy removal, the currency depreciation that we are facing right now, the level of inflation in the country, both the headline inflation and the food inflation. The headline, for instance, is at 32%. Food inflation is at 40%. What that means is that people are struggling, and not just individuals, even businesses are struggling to stay afloat. So when I saw the circular, I felt, no. I understand the need to secure the cyberspace, and also that dovetails into even physical security. And I understand the need for the Office of the National Security Advisor to, of course, generate enough funds to be able to implement its own programs in terms of whether physical security or cyber security. So there is the need for that. But again, is that what are our priorities at this time? Remember that the president did mention that we are not going to tax poverty. We are going to tax wealth. Now, if you have 87 million of your citizens below the poverty line, the world's second largest, poor population after India, and you want to continue to impose tax upon tax upon tax, I don't think that should be our priority at this time. What we should focus on is how to empower the people, which I understand the president is also concerned about. For instance, the student loan fund that he just set up to provide access to education, whether formal or vocational. And that itself would need some incubating timeline, so that people are empowered and they are now earning income and contributing to productivity, because then you can tax them. I think, for me, it's just not the right time to go about implementing this policy.
Right. People will always say that there will be no time, whenever a policy is introduced, there will be no time for the government to implement it, as Nigerians definitely will kick against it. So talk to us first about, because with these announcements, some Nigerians are saying, is it even 0.5% or 0.005%? And how does it directly affect the common man, or maybe indirectly, because there are 16 exemptions that the CBN ruled out, and I definitely did not see or didn't see as much direct impact it will have on the common man. Do you think?
Oh, there will be direct impact. First, going to the rates that you mentioned, 0.5% in percentage and 0.005 in nominal terms. It's the same thing. It's just an interpretation. What it means is that you are paying 0.5% on the transaction that you are initiating. And if you are initiating, for instance, a 1,000 naira transaction, you're supposed to pay 15 naira on that 1,000 naira transaction. Now, I mean 5 naira, sorry. Now, if you are initiating, for instance, in volume of 10 million, for instance, you are going to pay as much as 50,000, as the charges, as a levy on that transaction. Now, what this means is, how many people are even doing intrabank, within their accounts? How many people are doing interbank within their accounts, the same customer? Let's leave out the non-profit sector, because, and then maybe public transactions, public, influence transactions, like if the CBN is paying or you are paying to the TSA account, all of those transactions are exempted. But to individuals, is that if you are doing transaction, I mean, look at yourself. For me, if I do transaction, am I transferring to myself within the same bank? Am I transferring to myself within another bank? Am I transferring? Very few times you are transferring to another customer within the same bank. Most times you are transferring outside your banking system, your immediate banking system. You are transferring outside, interbank. So all of those transactions will be levied. And again, is whoever came up with 0.5%, I'm not sure, that's a healthy levy to impose on people. Whether we have the right environment to do it or not, I think it's too much. If you are talking about 0.05%, which will now give in nominal terms maybe 0.0005, then perhaps it's something that can be accommodated. Remember that even currently banks, already, charge you for, all kind of manner of levy, taxes, and all of that already on the transactions that you are making. And all of that are still going to erode the purchasing power of the average Nigerian, whether you like it or not.